Alright, taking a little break from my decoder install. I'm always on the lookout for equipment, and so I'm always monitoring Kijiji and whatnot. And this came in the mail today. Came from a fella from Ontario, and just happened to be probing Kijiji and saw this. So I talked to him and asked if he was willing to mail it, and he was. I bought it from a fella in Ontario. So this is me opening it here now. It's a bit of a risk, but hopefully it pays off. I personally haven't had any issues with anybody over model railroading on Kijiji. We're a great group of people and very trustworthy, and I haven't had the bad luck yet. So, as you can see here, it's a decoder. Board-wise, it looks like it's in excellent shape. Let's see if we can zoom in here. Digitrax DH165AO DCC decoder. So I paid $30 and I gave them like $2 or $2 and yeah, $2, maybe $2.50 for shipping. It ended up just being in a regular envelope, stamped. So he probably made $1 or so off of me on shipping. So this is a plug and play decoder. Now, I would normally use my homemade decoder tester because of the big contacts that I had put into this stereo speakers with I have a bunch of these homemade gator clip wires, just with pretty heavy gauge speaker wire. But this motor here is drawing a lot of amperage for some reason, and I almost blew a T1 TCS decoder this evening, so we'll put this aside until I replace that motor. So I kind of jerry-rigged my ESU. Now, funny thing enough, this is what I based my homemade one on. And after I had made my homemade one, that following fall, I found one of these for almost as much as I paid to make the other one. I bought that for $25. I probably got maybe less than $20 in the other one. So anyway, my prototype board pinned wires is what I'm connecting to this dinky little connector, and let's see if we can get this tested here. I'm going to pause and connect this. Alright, so at this point in time I only have the track power connected and the motor leads. There are no lighting. I didn't want to get too crazy with the gator clips. So I'm going to now see if, so I have the decoder hooked up to my decoder tester hooked up to my Digitrax. PR3 as well as my programming track booster. It's all connected accordingly. And I'm going to test the decoder to see if it'll read it. I suppose I should turn on my power to my command station. Let's try that again. Oh, I just noticed one of my leads fell off. Let's try this again. Technical difficulties. Alright, one more time. Oh, we have movement. Alright, so it's seeing Digitracks. GH165AO. So what I normally do when I receive these types of things, and I've gotten one or two decoders used, this one so far seems to be good. I go into my basics on Decoder Pro and I just read this sheet to begin with. So what this tells me is that the decoder has never been reset from its customized settings. It's got a long address, it's set to a long address. I mean, I could go and read all of the CVs from the whole thing. It probably will only take a minute. I'll pause and I'll do that. Okay, so this has read all of the CVs, and there are no unread CVs, so everything is great. So it's reading everything perfectly. What I normally do now, it's even got specifics for kickstart, acceleration, deceleration, speed, steps, and volts. They didn't use this speed table, and all of the functions are default. So what I'm going to do now, since this is a new to me decoder, is I am going to reset the defaults. So I'm going to reset everything on this decoder. Reset to default. I'm going to go to the CV page and I am going to write all the changes, on this sheet. So this is all of the CVs. So as I write these, it'll switch everything back to the default for this decoder coming from factory. So I'm going to pause this. This will take a few minutes, and I'll be back. I should note, as this is writing, oh, it's actually just finished. The lights here flicker and the motor jiggles. Anyway, that was pretty quick. I'm just reading a few CVs here, and you'll see there these green lights are on, and the motor jiggles just a smidge. As it reads the CVs, those lights will flash. There. So that is that. Everything is reset. Now what I'm going to do as a quick test, these gator clips, I kind of stole them from my normal setup, so I'm going to just switch these ones from the programming track to the power. I'm going to take my controller and turn track power on. Now I'm going to flip off a light here. Maybe you can see that better. So those lights are on. Going to hit, now that it's reset, it's locomotive 3. Now I am going to turn on the, oh, of course I don't have the headlights wired in, so I just can only make the motor spin. And it does. Go in reverse. Perfect. So this was a gamble that paid off. Not much of a gamble. I take the seller that he's a good person, or they're a good person, and they're going to sell a quality used product. It came safely, bubble wrapped in a simple envelope, which I agreed to keep the cost down. And the decoder was $32 for me on my part, and I think they retail now for almost $40 plus tax, so I saved a few dollars. Now one good thing about this type of decoder, which is quite neat, you see these other holes. Digitrax puts out what's called a sound bug, and it's a separate decoder that offers sound, and you can load different sound files on it. So essentially you install this in a locomotive when you can afford it, then you go and you buy the sound bug and attach it to it, and then you have sound. It's piggybacked onto this existing decoder. Now I've come to appreciate Digitrax to some degree. I started out using Digitrax, and it they're good. They're okay. Functionality wise, they're great. The sound files, because a lot of them are amateur procured sounds, the quality isn't the greatest. So I've moved on to Lock Sound and Soundtracks for the most part, because of the better quality sound. So essentially I install these in locomotives that I don't intend to put sound in, or locomotives of a certain caliber, a lower to mid-range caliber, where it's nice to have sound with the sound bug, but I don't need it to be pristine. It doesn't have to follow the model like Athearn blue boxes or something like that, I would be more apt to put Digitracks in. A repeater obviously would be Lock Sound, Atlas, Silver Series, or Gold Series would be a Lock Sound or a Soundtracks. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents, and seems to be a good purchase from Kijiji. Thanks for watching.